In today's video, we are going to be breaking down the Portland Trail Blazers Horns basketball offense. In this first play, what we're going to be having is the two post players setting up a screen on either side of the defender of the ball handler. At that point, the ball handler is going to be able to use one of those screens, and he can then take that shot, or we can go on to the second part of this play, which is what we are going to see right now. So in the second part of this play, we're going to have these post players setting up a screen up top. At this point, what we're going to have is Cantor rolling towards the basket. If we have Lillard unable to take that shot or unable to get that pass through to Cantor, we're going to have a secondary screen with Carmelo Anthony, which is the player who we just used the screen from. At that point, he's going to use that screen. Of course, he could take that three-point shot, but what we really want to see is Carmelo cutting towards the basket. The reason why this is important is because now we can have that point to high post pass, which then raises up that low post defender, so that now when Carmelo Anthony gets that ball here, he can set that pass down to Cantor. That's obviously if his defender comes up to defend. If this defender comes down to defend Cantor, we can then have a pass out to that wing player. However, what we do see in this clip is Lillard taking that three-point shot. Basically, what this is going to look like on the clipboard is, of course, players 4 and 5 setting that screen on player 1, and of course he could take that shot. That's the first option. But instead, if he decides to use that screen and he cannot get that pass down to that post player who just set that screen, what's going to happen now, especially if his player then fought over top or underneath that screen, what we want to see happen is Cantor or our center going down into that low post closer to the baseline. And now what we're going to have is also the possibility of player 1 driving towards the basket or taking that three-point shot. Now, the thing with Cantor or our center rolling towards the basket is if that brings in this defender, we could kick it out for a 3 on this corner. However, that's not what we see in the video, and that's just part of this play. We're then going to have player 4 turn around and set that screen for player 1. The reason why this screen is important is because if player 4 red was to hedge, or hedge super high, or they switch, and we have player 4 rolling towards the basket, we can have a pass to the high post. Now, why is this important? Well, of course, he could take that shot. It's a higher percentage shot, but we could have player 5 leave his man to play defense on player 4 in hopes that player 3 red comes down and defends player 5. Player 3 needs to be smart and move up towards that free throw line extended, where player 4 can pass player 3 that ball for the 3. If his man doesn't leave him and goes to defend the low post, we can have a high to low pass to player 5. So there's a couple of different options in this first play. Now in this second play, what we're going to have is, of course, the Horns offense once again, but we're going to have our point guard offset towards one side or the other. What we're going to have now is the player from the opposite side moving in, and of course the high post player setting a screen for that player out on that corner, on the ball side corner. Now, why is this important? Well, we're going to have that player curling out, and after that curl, we're going to have a screen from our center. Now, this is very important because now this player can be trailing off towards that corner or cutting down towards the basketball net. Meanwhile, this player is going to be moving out towards this side. And now what we're going to have is a screen up top and a screen and roll. So from this screen and roll, what's going to happen is now we have Lillard, who could pass that ball out towards the wing if his man comes down and defends that drive. We also have the ability of having Cantor coming down the middle. Now, why is this part important? Well, this is important because now we could have Lillard go up for that drive. He could pass to Cantor as well, which would then rise up this player out of the key, or at least higher out of the away from the net, which then frees up this player to either hit a three-point shot or to cut back door for an alley-oop, which is not something that we see here, but he was ready to take that. So basically how this looks here is we're going to have player 4 setting that screen down or just slightly down from the key. At this point, we're going to have player 2 using player 4, and of course, if player 2 is open, we could hit him up for a pass. Player 3 is going to be cutting baseline, and we're going to be having player 2 follow through and down towards that corner. And at that point in time, player 4 is going to step out of the key, and we're going to have a screen by player 5. When player 5 sets that screen, we're going to have player 1 either take a shot from the 3, or he can drive towards the basket, which is a great option. Now, when this happens, what could happen is player 5 could be rolling towards the basket. We will have potentially player 2 moving in to defend that drive, which would be a kick out 3. The other option is to get player 5 the ball, who would have an open lane, but this would be bringing player 3 in. So we could have a 3-point shot from the corner or a weak side cut for player 3 to dunk it. I hope that these basketball plays help your team win more games. If they do, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.